What's up, YouTube? For tonight's video, we have a full Little Mermaid team. Man, I used to watch this one when I was a kid. No, not really. I actually still watch it now. Anyways, leave those theme teams in the comment section below, people. The highest thumb up comment will be the winner. All right, got a couple of good battles here for you people. Now, we have a double upload tonight, as promised. The next one will come out a few hours after this one, so make sure you check that one out too. I didn't really feel like uploading last night, so making up for it tonight. All right, this first battle was against James. I'm not sure when I did this battle. It was recently, though. If you want to battle me, I'm in my chat, and that's where I take all my battles from. All right, so we have Ariel's lead here. Obviously, thinking here, this was my thought process. It's going to set up Sticky Web. I'm running a physical pellet here with a Power Herb Sky Attack. It also gets access to Knockoff, Gunk Shot, and Seed Bomb, which is handy because you need opposing water types there. All right, so I kind of had a feeling this thing would have a Focus Sash anyway, but it didn't there, so it just get rid of it completely there. It may not have been a web set, could have been like a crazy-ass scope lens set or something like that. Anyway, so we have Ursa Ring coming here, just getting rid of its item there. It's going to have the Toxic Orb, so obviously being the quick feat set there. It's going to hit me with the Rock Slide, that's going to do a fair bit of my health there. So here I can either go for the Gunk Shot or the C-Bomb. I decided to go for the C-Bomb there because I thought, if Gunk Shot does hit, it'll probably poison knowing my luck and they'll get their quick feed up. So that would be a bad idea. Anyway, so doing as much damage as possible there, taking out the lead and doing good dent to Ursa Ring. So that was a nice job there by Pelipper. All right, to bring in Flounder here. This was a Z splash set here with Waterfall. I've got Bounce on it as well. Got to hit those grass types, guys. And I've got Flail on it as well. All right, so we have a Trumbeat coming in here. So I'm going to go for the Z Splash here. But since I actually didn't have the Z Crystal in this battle, I forgot to actually equip it. I'm going to just use a good old Splash there, hoping for a Flail there. But it's going to be a Skill Link set instead of a bulky set, which I thought it might be like a bulky Everlight set. So I thought I could get away with that, but I didn't. So Finion goes down, but Finion will return. Don't worry, guys. Okay, so bringing in Sebastian here. This is a special Kingler set. Now, on this one, it gets some pretty interesting moves. However, I've got Endure on this with the Potato Berry to boost its special attack there. I've also got Blizzard on this. I've got Scald. And I've got Mudshot as well to hit electric types there. So it's a pretty fun set there. Now, I actually get critted here by the Bullet Seed there. Since I've got fairly nice base defense, I am going to live that one. And I'm going to activate my Potato Berry there too. Okay, so the last one, I just live on there. That would have been bad if that was a crit. So on 4 health, now here I'm going to go for the Blizzard here, and it hits, thank God. That would have really sucked if it missed, and Trumbeak is going to go down there. So that's good. I'm fully set up with my Kingler. This was a max speed special attack set. I was running Timid on this one. All right, so Swordsbuck is going to come in here. I just went for Endure in case it went for anything like High Jump Kick or something, or Mist or anything like that. And Jump Kick, and that's going to just leave me on 1 health there. So here I was thinking I could go for Blizzard, or I decided to go for Scald there because I thought Blizzard might miss. Scald does a lot of damage there. However, I don't get a burn, and it's going to go for Mega Horn and finish me off there. So any move would have actually finished me there. And like Mega Horn could have easily missed there, so pretty risky. Anyway, maybe they'll expect me to swap or something. Okay, so swapping King Trident here. This was a physical sweeping set. Now, I had Agility on this. I had Sword Dance. I don't commonly do Agility and Sword Dance on the same set. It's very risky because it's very hard to set them up. However, I did it with this one. So I've got Waterfall, and I've also got Steel Wing on there for some stab there. I actually got a sweep with this Empoleon set there. So if you want me to put that up, let me know in the comments section, peoples. All right, anyways, so I've got this one up. I've got Define on this as well, so I can, boost my attack there if I have any drops or like Sticky Web per se, that sort of thing. Okay, so with the Steel Wing after the Sword Dance, it is pretty strong, but it's very, very dodgy in accuracy there. But I want to use it to a fun move there and get some nice stab. All right, so we have Trevenant coming in here. Now, I was thinking, well, I can't go for Waterfall. I've got to go for Steel Wing. It doesn't miss. I was like, sweet. And, yeah, of course, the Trevenant lives. Now they're going to get the Z move off here, and they're going to become too spooky for me, and that's going to be able to take my Empoleon out pretty easily there. So, pretty close battle here at the moment. Now, I actually wanted to do a Stunfisk as Flounder, a shiny Stunfisk. But I kind of thought of that after I did this team, so that probably would have looked a little bit closer there than the Finion, but it's still good. I just thought I'd say that anyway. All right, so bring in Ursula here. This was a pretty cool set. So we have a Toxic Rest set. Now I also have Flatter on this, and I've also got Topsy-Turvy. So what you can do, right, is you can boost up their special attack with Flatter, and hopefully they hit themselves a couple of times in confusion. Then you can use Topsy-Turvy to swap the stats completely. So say if you give them a plus, like a negative and +2, then you can do that to a -2, so you can get rid of their stats. It's a pretty interesting set, and them being confused at the same time as the poison racks up, and then you can rest off some of the damage. So a bit of a different set there, and I also had Infiltrator on that instead of Contrary. Okay, so I have this is a bit of a standard bulky Primarina, but the rest were quite interesting sets. So on this one I had Psychic, I had Moonblast, I had Blizzard, I think, and I had Energy Ball on that one. Anyway, so we have a bulky Vespiquen set here. So I brought in Malamar because I thought this would be really nice for it. I know Vespiquen is, it's terrible when it comes to status. Status really kills the bulky ones, like Will-O-Wisp, Toxic, Paralysis, those things really kill it. All right, so setting up a lot of boosts here. I know that I am weak to Bug as well, but I just wanted to get the Toxic off. That was my main thing. I knew that I had, there was a good chance I could swap in Primarina there to try and do that. All right, so going for the Topsy-Turvy there, which is a really cool move. It's obviously only signature to Malamar line, and taking away like Smeagol and stuff. Anyways, so on this set I had max health, I had split defenses there, just maximum bulk really. Obviously it was big, it was big taunt bait there too. It was just making use of that Topsy-Turvy gimmick there. Anyways, so I got a couple of toxic rounds on the Vespiquen. Going for another Flatter. I wasn't sure what moves this will have, whether it be a physical set or a special set. It can it can do either of those. I know it's got attack order, or it's got things like Bug Buzz there. It's main sort of stab moves there, that kind of thing. Since I was just hoping that it didn't have rest. That was the only thing that I was worried about. I would have probably been in a bit of trouble there if it did have a rest. I definitely would have needed a critical hit with my Primarina. That's what I was thinking at this point in time. Anyway, all right. So anyway, going for the Topsy-Turvy again there. I'm just trying to get rid of its stats. Really, there's not much I can actually do to it now that it's poison. Now it's going to go for a Fury Cutter. I'm not sure if they took inspiration from my Vespiquen Fury Cutter set, but if they did, that was really cool. I was like, damn, I've seen that set before. So obviously Fury Cutter is a bug type move, physical set, and it gets, it increases in power as you use it. However, it does get reset if you miss, so that's the only downside to it there. Plus, it's very, very low base power too. Anyway, so going for the Psychic there on my Primarina, just going for that special defense drop. I just actually lived there, but it's able to take itself out with the Toxic, and that's Vespiquen down. And I hope you guys enjoyed this first game. Nice, close one. All right, let's get to the second one. All right, so this battle was against Cobian on my chat there. Now we have a Hoot Hoot, a knockdown lead, nearly called it Hoot Hoot then. And we have my special Kingler lead. Now this was a rather salty battle. All right, so Blizzard right off the bat misses. That's cool. Its accuracy isn't the greatest in the world. All right, so I'm going to get hit by the Air Slash here, doing a lot of damage there. Doesn't quite activate my Potato Break. So going for the Endure here, I need to get that berry up. So I know Noctowl is very bulky in its special defenses, and Kingler's special attack is basically garbage. Okay, so it goes for the Moonblast here. Thankfully, I don't get a special attack drop. That would have been terrible because it would have negated my berry, basically. Anyways, so going for the Blizzard here, and of course, it misses. So that really sucked there. I was able to finish me off with a Shadow Ball. So my Kingler got absolutely wrecked then. I'm so salty about that. Anyways, it's all good. I have another 5 Pokemon. So bringing in Flounder here, I thought, well, I might be able to get a Z Splash off here, maybe. So Noctowl's going to swap to a Finneon. Always wanted to say that. And Basculin is going to come in here, going for the Z Splash here. Look at those guns. Anyways, so I got the Z Splash up, which will give +3 to Finneon with Waterfall. Now, the idea was really to use this with the Drizzle up, so I could get a little bit of extra damage there. Oh, this whole team was Water types, to save Malamar. I guess you could. Malamar kind of. It's one of those types that kind of reminds me of a water type anyway, because I guess it's a squid kind of thing. Okay, so going for the Flower there. I thought that it would actually outspeed me. That's why I went for Flower. Now it's going to throw up the Substitute and go for the Aqua Jet there. So that does half my health there, and it's also a critical hit. So I'm like, that's interesting. That probably should have done a little bit more. Anyways, so going for the Waterfall to break the sub on Basculin. That's going to fade. So I'm not really sure what set this is. It's got Substitute and Aqua Jet. I know what other moves it can have. I know they can have like Double Edge and Crunch and those sort of things. They're its main like physical moves that it uses outside of its main stab being water. And now it's going to go for the Z power here, and it's going to be a water type attack. I'm guessing it could be Z Aqua Jet. I'm not sure. I was guessing it was a water type move there. Anyways, so Finneon's going to get wrecked by the Z Aqua Jet there, and that's going to take it out. So unfortunately, that's Finneon down. So not having the best start to the battle at the moment. I really need to get back into this one. All right, so bringing in the physical Pelipper. Okay, so I've got the Drizzle up anyway, which is going to help out my other Pokemon and, of course, myself there with all my water-type moves. So I've got, as I said, I've got the Power Herb on this, so I can activate my move straight away. Decided to go for the C-Bomb here because it was super effective on Basculin. Doesn't quite take it out there. I mean, it's Pelipper as well. I thought I'd do a little bit more to that, but that's all good. Now it's going to go for the Aqua Jet. Doesn't seem to have any other moves outside of Aqua Jet, or haven't seen that. If it was going to use like Double Edge or Crunch, it probably would have already used it by now. All right, so Basculin is down there. Pelipper still has its item there, so I can use Sky Attack when I like. Okay, so we have Mimikyu coming out here. Now, I have knockoff on my Pelipper too, so I was like, let's get rid of its item. That could be something really annoying. So I get rid of its disguise, bust that, and I'm going to get rid of a really good item too with its Agwave berries there. So it can't, it can't do any healing with that. So that's quite good. All right, so it's got to taunt me, which is fine because I've got all, I've got all attacking moves. So that's cool with me. Going for the Sky Attack here. I love Sky Attack's animation. It looks really, really cool. And I'm going to obviously get the full activation with the Power Herb. And thank God. I actually thought I was going to miss then, and it didn't. Going for the crit there, but I didn't get it, but that's all good. Does a lot of damage. Then it's going to use Bulk Up, so it's a Bulk Up set. I'm like, okay, it's a bulky Mimikyu. This could be annoying if it's got some sort of recovery. I wasn't really sure. So Gunk Shot misses, unfortunately, and now it's going to go for the Leech Life there, which isn't going to be very effective, but could be a problem if it gets a lot of Bulk Ups up. Anyways, so it's getting a little bit of recovery from the Leech Life there. Now, here I could go for the Gunk Shot again, or I could go for Knockoff just to get some damage on it, because of dodgy accuracy. I went for Gunk Shot again, and it misses for the second time. That kind of sucked there, because I would have loved to get some damage on the Knockdown. Anyway, so going for the Knockoff here on the Knockdown, I'm going to get rid of its Assault Vest there. So it's obviously a, it's got 4 special attacks, and it's going to be, I'd say it'd be like, it could be like max, it's definitely max special attack. It either could be that, or max speed, or max health. Definitely max special attack, though. All right, so bringing in Malamar here. I'm sensing us only use special attacker, so going for the flatter there. Knockdown's a little bit impressed, and it gets a special attack raise. It's going to be confused there, too, and it's going to, be a perfect subject for my Topsy-Turvy set. So it hits itself in confusion, so I was like, this is cool. I could go for Topsy-Turvy, then go for, Toxic afterwards or something like that. However, they're going to swap out their Knockdown, and in comes Mimikyu again. So Topsy-Turvy is obviously going to fail there, because, no stats have been, given or taken. Okay, so now it's going to go for the Shadow Sneak on me. Not going to do much. It was a crit, did like nothing. And Toxic misses. Man, I had a lot of misses in this battle. I was quite salty about that. Anyways, not that it matters too much there. I was thinking, well, they could swap into something else, but I went for Toxic again anyway. So it's continuing to go for the Shadow Sneak against me there. I thought it may try and get a couple of Bulk Ups up. I'm not sure. I wasn't actually sure how many moves outside of Leech Life it could go for. I thought it'd be going for that, actually. Maybe they were predicting me swapping or something like that. Anyways, I've got the Toxic up on Mimikyu there, which is good. It's yet to be determined whether it had like Rest or something like that. Anyway, so it's going to go for Taunt. It has Taunt. It has a Leech Life, Bulk Up, and it's got Shadow Sneak. So it didn't have Rest there, but pardon me there. Okay. Anyways, so I've got most of my health back. This Mimikyu is basically only going to go down to the Toxic damage there, unless it starts firing off those Leech Lives at me. So now they're going to swap out their Mimikyu and go into their Palossand. So I thought, well, this is really good. I can get a Toxic on Palossand. I went for the struggle kill there. I really wanted to take Mimikyu out with a struggle kill, but my dreams were like crushed there, guys. I have to swap out now because I'm taunted. Like, I can't do anything to this Palossand at all. So having to swap Malamar out, I was like, well, at least I can swap it out and maybe, Toxic the Palossand later. So I thought, let's swap in Ariel here. I can go for the Hydro Pump and try and take this thing out. Now it's going to go for the Sand Tomb. I'm guessing it was like a trapping... Toxic trapping set there with some form of recovery like Shore Up, one of those sort of moves there. Now I was thinking, well, not many of their Pokemon are really going to want to be swapping into a Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump lands, thank God. That would have been a kind of a problem if it didn't. And Palossand is going to go down to that one there. No water compaction or anything happening there. All right, so we have the Ampharos coming in here. So I was like, I don't really want to swap into it. Decided to go for the Hydro Pump there. Does so much damage. Ampharos just lives there. It's going to go for a charge. So they'll definitely expect me to swap there. Man, this is risky because I was Specs, right? So I had to decide to go for that or swap. Decide to go for it. Thank God that's that third one hit there. Sorry, the second one hit and takes the Ampharos out there. Man, that would have... Man, a freaking Thundershot would have taken me out then after that charge boost. As you know, charge boosts the power of electric types the next turn. It also gives you a buff in special defense. All right, so swapping Primarina out. Don't really like being swapped, locked into Hydro Pump. Even though it's very powerful, it can be quite risky. And Mimikyu's going to go for a Shadow Sneak against my Malamar. Okay, so here I was definitely thinking, well, if I just stay in for a couple of turns, maybe get that, that Toxic to rack itself up there. Malamar, this set can become a definite dead weight there. It's mainly good for, swapping in something that needs to set up or something along those lines. Okay, so I nearly called that Milotic then. So Mimikyu's going to go for the Leech Life there. I'm going to go for Flatter on that. I just want to get a confusion on it. That's my main thing here. It can either attack me or swap or just, stay in. That was really its options there. I was hoping that maybe, I was thinking here I could get a rest off and, maybe try and get that toxic damage to rack up more, then, force another swap. I know there's a Noctowl left, but they're going to swap there. Obviously, they don't like being confused. Okay, so their last Pokemon is a Larvesta, which is pretty cool. Going for the Flatter again, because I did actually predict a swap there. Now, I know Larvesta can be a good physical attacker. I know that it's got access to stuff like Flare Blitz and stuff, so I had Primarina would be a nice swap in there. Malamar, not really so. I mean, I could use it just to get the Toxic up, and then, just use it as a, HP... like a HP drainer there, so I could use Rest, and they could just do, like, recoil to themselves. Anyway, so I got the Toxic up there. Now, that's good. I can either go for Topsy-Turvy here, which is good. It's going to set up the Amnesia, so it's got a buff in Special Attack and in Amnesia. So here I could go for Topsy-Turvy and make those stats negative. It's a really cool move. I do like it. It's quite hard to make use of, though, and obviously, it's very situational. So a lot of the time, you'd be attacking rather than dropping their stats. It is a really cool move, though, I have to admit that. Anyway, so it's going to get confused there, but it's going to get past there, and it's going to go for the Leech Life there, which is going to finish off my Malamar there. So Ursula is going to go down there. She was like so evil, remember that. Anyways, so all I've got left is my Primarina now and one of my other Pokemon. Okay, so we got the toxic damage up. That was the main thing there I wanted to do. So I thought, let's swap in King Trident here. This is my Sword Dance Agility set, as I already said. Just went for Waterfall here to do some damage. I was guessing it would have like Everlight or something. It takes it fairly well, considering it's super effective, and it's coming from an Empoleon. Now it's going to go for the Flame Charge here, which is going to boost its speed. So here I was thinking, well, a Flare Blitz is really, really going to hurt me next time. They've got nothing really to lose. They're going to go down the next turn. So I was thinking, well, they could go for Flare Blitz here. Decided to swap out Empoleon because I thought that'd be a good Pokemon to, try and finish off the last ones. So I swapped in Primarina here, which I knew that would be able to tank that, and the toxic damage would take out the Larvesta there as well, and the recoil. However, they're going to go for a Flame Charge again, boosting his speed, but that's not going to do any damage to my Primarina. So the last two Pokemon that they have are the Mimikyu and the Noctowl from so earlier on in the game. I really wanted to take this thing out because it trolled me so hard at the start of the game. Alright, so now it's going to go for a Scummy Air Slash here. Now, I actually went for the Psychic. I was meant to go for Moonblast there. I kind of misclicked there, and it's obviously going to be able to tank that one. So I was like, damn it, I should have gone for the Moonblast, but I misclicked that one. I think I was doing these battles very, very late. Anyway, so I lived that one, and I'm going to be able to get the Psychic up, which is going to take out the Noctowl, which is basically the same result there. I just took a little bit more damage. So that is down. The last Pokemon is the Mimikyu. I know that I'm probably now in range to die to a Shadow Sneak. And that's all good because I do have Empoleon left, and I want to go for. I can either go for the Waterfall or the Steel Wing to take out the Mimikyu to finish this one off. It is poison as well, and none of its moves I know that are going to be able to take me out, and that's that's basically game here. Now going for the Steel Wing here because I wanted to finish off with style. There's nothing like finishing a battle with Steel Wing. I like that animation too. And that was it, guys. Hope you enjoyed both these battles. Enjoy the bloopers.